Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Monette and this is my channel, Evolve with Monette. I am so happy to have you here with me today, and today we are going to jump right into it. We're going to get started with Scorpio. So what I will be doing is an intuitive read for the sign of Scorpio. I will be using cards, Scorpio, since this is our first time working together. I'm going to flash through the decks quickly so that you get a idea of what we'll be getting into. First, I'll be using a Sacred Rebel deck as a signifier. That will come at the end of the reading, Scorpio, and what we'll do is I will read out of the book because it's quite a meaty explanation. It's not just left up to interpretation. It's an oracle card that our angels are fantastic at usually wrapping the reading up with. So we will get to the end of that. I will also be using my favorite deck, a Major Arcana deck. And it is only Major Arcana, laminated, well-worn, and loved. Okay? And then I have a gold and flashy deck that I will be using for you guys, Scorpio. And then I will be pulling an angel card for you guys as well. All right, Scorpio, what I like to do is, well, they're starting already. They do this sometimes. That card may be exactly one of the cards I feel compelled to pull for you of spiritual understanding. Um, I first want to just welcome in the right angels for you. Archangels, all of you, all angels for higher vibration, and for Scorpio of transmutation and transformation. The angel that I feel really compelled to call upon for you guys today is Metatron. Metatron is a larger than life. I think all of our angels are, but for some reason there is a grand value ascribed to Metatron, not in that he's an archangel, but in that he clears energy, and it's powerful. I'm going to ask Metatron to come in and work with us tonight. We'll see who else comes up on our angel cards, okay? We're going to ask Metatron to come in. We're going to ask Archangel Gabriel to come in. And then I feel like we're going to ask for Michael to come in tonight with Michael's Sword of Magic and Breaking Old Ties and Bonds. And so it is. All right, Scorpio, we're going to get started with running the deck. Now, the way that my readings come to me, part intuitive, part card, part all good, a lot of angel. I ask that I'm a conduit here for you guys for this. We have something popping out. We have Divine Order. This came out for another reading, and I actually usually pull one or two angel cards, but I feel like I'm supposed to pull one more for you guys. Before I start any reading, I'm always listening to music. And today, we had a little bit of Frey from the Eagles. I believe it's James Frey or Greg Frey. Excuse me. Tequila Sunrise is actually what I listen to, and it's what inspired my eye look, actually, Scorpio. But the black is for you. The black leather. I was like, let me get my Scorpio life together because these Scorpios, I want to channel the right energy for you guys here. The other thing that came up, ironically enough, was one Mr. Robert Van Winkle. Time to spread your wings, Scorpio. Love that for you. And if you guys are not familiar with Robert Van Winkle, perhaps you've heard of his stage name. Ice Baby, anyone? All right. The reason I think that that came up is because I heard specifically, even though it just kind of popped out to me. There's a whole bunch going on in that song. But stop, collaborate, and listen. Scorpio's back. There are some new inventions. Something has grabbed a hold of you tightly. So I trust when they bring me information like that. So we're going to see what that's about. How does that come up in this reading? So we're going to run the deck with my tarot, these gold tarot here. If you see the flashes of light over there, I feel like I have to say this in every video. This is not just magical orbs, though I wish. Right now, it's just a reflection of these very bright cards. First card, Ace of Wands for you guys. And I'm just shuffling until they pop out. I'm trying to see. This will be your year. Wow. Ace of Pentacles. You guys are on fire tonight. Stop, collaborate, and listen. That's the direction that we're going. Wishes granted. Whoa! Scorpio, all this manifestation that you are always working on, all these secrets that you are bringing into being, your angels say we fully support you and we see you working away diligently and we are going to help you get to your goals. One more for just, just for the heck of it. The Empress. Okay, y'all. Well, that's a fantastic start for you guys. Let's see. Let's see the story. Now, with the major arcana cards, I'm just going to pull one. I want to be able to tap right into what is needed for you guys. The card of the Lovers. Here we go, guys. Stop, collaborate, and listen. Stop, collaborate, and listen. Let's pull a signifier for you guys and see what is coming up here. Ooh, had a little bit of a glitch in the matrix there. Glitches in the matrix. That's something actually, Scorpio, that they're saying you are very keenly aware of. Glitches in the matrix, meaning you understand that we're living in a multidimensional world. You, out of all signs, understands that we are living in a multidimensional world, and that in order for you to be here, there are systems that you have to outwit. That's very interesting. That's what I thought I would have. So this is interesting for you guys. Let's see here. Going beyond normal for you. Just gonna pull one more of these. Going beyond normal. No, I want to pull one more, but they said that's it. They said that's it. They said that's it. I pulled another one, but they said nope. Going beyond normal is exactly what they were supposed to hear. Okay. Fair enough. All right, guys, let's get started. I mean, well, first of all, I just want you guys to know what a stellar year this is going to be for you guys in terms of manifesting. One of the things to note about Scorpio energy for Scorpio Sun, Moon, and Rising, this is your 2020 year ahead intuitive reading, just to reiterate that. One of the things to understand for Scorpio Sun, Moon, and Rising this year is that you are ridiculously powerful. There is an infinite power structure that is held inside of you. You guys are your own generator. You are self-generated. You are self-starters. You are motivators. If you are in an office and a colleague is like, I think I'm going to try that new diet, you're the person that colleague wants to do that diet with, because you're the person that's going to have the willpower and the follow through to make sure that they're actually doing what they need to do. One of the things that comes up for you this year is that you have an opportunity to be collaborative, because they keep bringing back up Vanilla Ice here, an opportunity to be collaborative, but it's not just in areas where Scorpio seems to be rather proficient. As a sign of Scorpio, you guys have this interesting rap of being associated with all things that are magnetic and sexual. And there is that side of you, there is that energy to you. But what I feel like is happening that they want you to understand is that sexuality is more about creation. Yes, you guys have a magnetism. We cannot deny that. But they say that you are one of the most, if not the most, I would say, creative signs. The thing about Scorpio, and I love it, ice, baby. When I was getting into metaphysical practices, one of the ways that a wise woman described Scorpio to me, an old crone, if you will, who taught me several interesting things. She said, imagine Scorpio as a shard of ice that falls from a house, and you pick it up, and it's pointed so sharp that you can pierce the skin and draw blood. Maybe, if you wanted to, you could do away with somebody. And then that piece of ice could melt away, and the evidence, if DNA did not exist, of the weapon would be gone. That is the transformative energy of Scorpio. Being that you are a water sign, what you guys have the ability to do is to slip into the deep recesses of not only people's energy, but their mental space as well. Now, if we're wanting to be collaborative, your natural psychic abilities this year are going to make it so that you don't have to use a lot of words. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to pull back our communication, but I am saying that you have a way of possessing something, someone, a situation that you want. And you have a way of obsessing. So we can overcorrect as Scorpio in our energy. This year, even though there's not a single card that talks about bringing this into balance for you, my energy says when you are stopping to collaborate and listen, you have the opportunity to dream bigger and to go beyond the normal. Scorpio, you are a visionary. And this year, they're saying you will be teaching a master class on how to manifest what you want. I'm always talking about manifestation. That comes up quite often. But for you guys, you get it because you get the visceral energy that has to be invested into actually manifesting. This is not just about saying you want something. You know that in wanting, there is sacrifice. Now, this has been a great theme coming up in a lot of the readings, but I believe it's because of the Saturn and Pluto Capricorn conjunction, which is very well aspected for you, Scorpio. You do well under those tough conditions. You do well when you are challenged. You do well when you have to grit it out. Even as I'm doing your reading, it is far less boisterous, far more measured than some of my previous readings. You can go take a look if you'd like. When I got on here, even after some good espresso, I feel methodical. I feel intentional. I feel powerful. But it's a steely resolve and power. And that is what is imbued with you this year. They asked me to talk about Metatron for you. And the reason that I feel like they did is because in order for you to transform, to go from that sharp shard of ice that could pierce the skin into this liquid form that could nourish the earth and cause something to grow, you have to be willing to be exposed to the elements. It's a really interesting way that your angels just gave that to me. You have to be willing to be exposed to the elements. This is elemental change. This is a restructuring of your emotional DNA as we go through the year of 2020. You are going to be looking at your relationships in a different way. Now it's not, do they love me? Now it's not, am I good enough for this job? It is, well, I've decided that I will be loved. I've decided that I am more than worthy for this job. And I've decided that this thing I am trying to bring into fruition, especially regarding the entrepreneurial aspect of Scorpio, for my entrepreneurial Scorpios, this thing that I'm wanting to bring into fruition, I have every tool that I need to bring it into fruition. When we have Ace of Wands, if you can see that here, what we have is the ability to create growth around us regarding business, but also the relationships that we have and the stories that we tell ourselves about those relationships. This year is not only going to be an abundant year for you as we have Ace of Pentacles, but this is you having the world in your hand. This is you having the world in your mouth. Here's what I mean by that. Life and death is in the tongue, right? So we can speak life over ourselves or we can speak death over ourselves. And Scorpio, your sign resides in all things to do with sex, magic, and death. So you, more than any sign, grasp the idea of speaking life or death over someone. A Scorpio's death stare, death gaze, or disassociation can break a person. These creatures, these beautiful, watery, deep creatures with their intense loyalty, you Scorpios, you do not suffer fools lightly, but beyond that, they're asking you to transcend your nature to take revenge. It's so weird because everything about this reading is just like, they're like, stay at this one note, be very almost monotone. But they said, when I felt take revenge, what they said was, these guys spend so much energy plotting. And they said what they want you to plot on is what you want to see come to fruition in your life. They said, can you be selfish this year in 2020 and not plot on the past friendship or the past lover or the past business partner who may have left you jaded or not done the right thing by you? They said, can you start to look at a way to create more abundance for yourself? Man, it's so much about abundance and it's so much about work for you this year as we have this card here, especially when we're dealing with this here with the Six of Pentacles, specifically the Six of Pentacles, excuse me, Seven of Pentacles. Oh my goodness, it's Seven of Pentacles. It's always hard to read these backwards, especially when we're dealing with the Seven of Pentacles. One of the things that I love about this here, when we're dealing with the number seven, we're dealing with synchronicities. So what your angels are doing are they're giving you hints for understanding how to intuit the energy that's being sent your way as you go through this year. Synchronicities, small coincidences, moments when you think, how is this happening? It feels like I'm living in the flow state. It feels like I'm living in a space of magic. Scorpio, it feels that way because it is that way. It feels that way because you are being intuitively guided, and your angels are saying, not only are you able to step into yourself, but male or female, you are the benevolent empress here. The reason I say male or female, because we all have within us male and divine feminine energy, right? Alpha and feminine, testosterone and estrogen. We are comprised of both, no matter what sign we are, no matter what our sun, moon, and rising is. And they are saying, they are asking you this year to be the benevolent queen. They said your creativity knows no bounds. This card, if you were to look at it on Major Arcana, is housing the pregnant empress. Here she is seated and you cannot tell that she is pregnant, but she is not just pregnant with child. For you guys, Scorpio, she is pregnant with possibility. She is pregnant with abundance. She's pregnant with creativity. She is pregnant with the energy of moving the relationships in her life that she once felt like were stagnant forward. Here's the thing about this. For you guys, excuse me, I don't feel like it's so much about you want to reconfigure the relationships in your life completely. I feel like, see, in the past, they said that you guys spend this inordinate, this is when they talked about the revenge and they asked me to go back, you spend an inordinate amount of time trying to get someone to yield to your will. You wanted at a certain outcome and you felt that you deserved it. And so you did your Scorpio magic. And Scorpio, you guys have magic. And so you did your magic and you did your energy work essentially. And some would call it a manipulation, and they said they want you to use your powers for good this year. Scorpio, instead of being a recluse, instead of stepping away, they are asking you to make committed energies towards involving yourself in the dirty work of human, not just interaction, but human understanding. You guys have a better grasp than most on the dynamics of relationships, specifically if we're dealing with the lovers. So this is for our sexual and romantic partnerships. But for those of you that are just dealing with like office dynamics and all of that, they're saying, this is not about that my will as Scorpio be done. This is about collaboration this year. They don't want you to just stay in the place, pardon me guys, where you are asking of yourself to use your sheer amazing strong will to get something to change for you. They said that what they want from you is to lean into being part of the tribes around you. That is not your nature. They said if you can heed that request as you transverse through this year, you will, or traverse, excuse me, as you traverse through this year, they said that what they will bring to you is deeper psychic awareness and creativity. They said that there is great power in the coming together of those who you have vetted and you find to be loyal. Big emphasis on that. They want you to, yes, spread your wings and not hold back. They're telling you that the timing is perfect and you're ready to soar. I love this for you. And I love this for you transformatively, because even as I look at her, what I'm seeing is a phoenix rising from the ashes. And if that's not Scorpio energy, I don't know what is. You guys can take anything and turn it into not only a pile of gold and wishes granted and abundant growth, but you can turn it into a spiritual lesson. And here is where we talk about the spiritual understanding of the Scorpio. This angel card says, I am bringing you esoteric information and symbols and helping you to understand spiritual truths. Now, what's so interesting to me is that out of all the signs, I think you need it the least. So, Scorpio, you guys are so good at decoding and deciphering the intuitive nudges from the universe and those synchronicities that they spoke about earlier. But they said that now it's not the chaos of Scorpio that happens to realign the folks and the energy around them. They said they want you to lean into the divine order where your angels are bringing to you information and in its right timing. Scorpio, because you are so goal oriented, it is sometimes everything you can do, not to plot and plan. You guys have a blueprint and you always follow that, but they're saying that you sometimes get ahead of yourself, and they're asking you to step back into yourself and understand that they are working things out exactly as it should be. When it comes to romantic relationships this year, they said this is not about you proving how crafty you are. They said this is about you leaning into the partnership, the connection, and the choice to say yes to love every single day. Loving yourself when you meditate. Loving your partner when you don't punish them. Oh, Scorpios, you guys are the great punishers. Loving your partner when you don't punish them. Loving your coworker, even if it's not love, but tolerating, let's just say that, even when that is not your natural inclination. This is not the time to pull out your stinger this year. This is a time to work. You need to be gathering resources and you need to be creating. I want you, Scorpio, in the next couple weeks to sit down and to really ask yourself what it is that you want to manifest. Because when we have Nine of Cups come up and we have the Ace of Pentacles, what we're dealing with is this brilliant alignment in the universe for you where you can have anything you want. It is like seeing a yod in your astrology chart, which means that you can create whatever you want, but it's going to be through a certain level of sacrifice. And Scorpio, you yield to the energy of sacrifice. You yield to the energy. It was 222 when that happened. Go back to when I started talking about the yacht. It was 22 minutes and 22 seconds about, if you were to rewind back, listen to what was being said at that moment, because it was about the bringing together of the coupledom, but also, this is not for everybody for couples. This is collaborative. Remember, stop, collaborate, and listen. So even in your business models, this can't all be your way. That's what it is. I have been trying to be, and here it is, that Kundalini rising for me. It can't all be your way. It won't all be your way, and that's okay. The great lesson in this year for you is that it is not all your way, and yet somehow you still come out far better than you could have ever imagined. And you reluctantly relinquishing a half of the reign, an inch of the reign to somebody else who you have vetted properly. I'm not asking you to be all willy-nilly and to throw caution to the wind. I'm saying know who you are allowing into your personal sacred space. And when you allow them in, listen to them. If you trust them to let them be there, listen to them, because they have something that's going to take you, your life, your vision, your dream, the spiritual understanding, the wishes you want granted, to the next level. This is not you marking time this year. You are taking off, you are soaring. You are the phoenix rising from the ashes. It is long overdue for you, Scorpio, to spread your wings. Revel in the accountability of the collaboration and watch how the universe rolls out its magic carpet for you. Let's get into the signifier. This was the signifier for today for you guys. You guys see that there? Going beyond normal. The thing about this signifier is usually, like I said, it will incorporate what we just talked about. It's a magic trick our angels do. On the path of life, Scorpio, there are deciding moments when we can choose to go with the mainstream. Is that you guys? Never. Or we can dare to take a bolder, more authentic and trusting way, even if it seems riskier or less safe. Specifically to what they just said for you. For you, what is risky and less safe is collaboration. That does not feel good to you. So they're asking you to take the path less traveled, even though from the rest of the humans in the world and the zodiac sign, that is usually the path most travel. Collaboration, together, two of us. They are asking you to be bolder, and even if it seems riskier or less safe, to rely solely on logic and science without incorporating the mysterious and magical is a recipe for an existence that is far too dry. We can't not incorporate the mysterious and the magical. What is a deeper spiritual understanding but more mysterious and more magical? I love when they do it, and they do it every time. So, what they want you to know here is that the sacred rebel within your heart, Scorpio, will always choose the juicier approach to life. You are currently approaching such a point. You could say that the choice is about balance. Also, 222, that is a number of balance, guys. Remember, I said I thought it was odd that there were no cards referencing balance. Well, the angels knew, and they took care of it here in our signifier. You are also currently, excuse me, let me find my place here. All right, so what they're saying is it's about balance. It is less about choosing to honor either art or science, gardening or architecture, and more about integrating all approaches so that you can enhance rather than hinder your life journey. What's another word for integration? Folding in, collaboration, maybe. I'm stretching here, but you guys see where they're going. Placing science or architecture above all else kills off the rebellious heart. Steadfastly relying on logic, proof, and a complete set of plans to measure and dictate outcomes will suffocate the soul. What did I just say about releasing your blueprints, guys? What did I just say about the deeper spiritual understanding that they're taking you to? They want you to understand and listen to them, because if you do so, you will spread your wings. What they're saying here is that it is so important for you to not just base it on these things. What they want you to do is choose to value decisions based on passion and instinct and trust in life enough to embrace it as an adventure as it unfolds. There's a time and place for logic and strategy, Scorpio. You guys are the best at it. And measurable outcomes. These are not bad tools to have, but we must be vigilant not to worship them or allow them to quash our less rational but equally valuable decision making tools. Our intuition, our spiritual understanding, our ability to tap into ourselves. Things that you know and you feel without knowing you know them. The flowing, remember they talked about the flow at the beginning of the reading, inspirational energy of the heart may have no conceivable basis in logic and reason and still be uncannily accurate. To remain rebellious, we must not sacrifice the art of emotion, instinct, passion, and intuition for the science of logic or strict planning. On the other hand, the gardening, the art, the meditation do provide us with a plan, albeit more loosely held. This plan still requires us to set aside time to draw upon reliable methods and prepare certain tools. However, there is also a healthy dose of organic flow, responsiveness, trust, and the creative process of bringing something to life. This leads to the cultivation of the most beautiful, abundant, and successful garden and the most vivid healing art. For my artist Scorpios out there, what do you want to create this year? What do you want to leave in the world? You're being asked to stay open to the intuitive approach in your life, your work, your creativity, as well as your spiritual understanding. Kind of have goosebumps. The intuitive approach can be likened to the method of a gardener or an artist. There's a sense of might, what work, where, and even a loose or held plan about how the plan should be carried out. But it all responds to the flow of the surroundings. That's what's interesting. It's intuitive to cook as a chef, it's intuitive to garden. You don't always know exactly how it's going to be figured out, but you trust yourself. And in the end, unless you're baking, you usually come out with a beautiful product. They're asking you to not control, Scorpio. Release that. Remember what I just said. They want you to collaborate this year and not be so much about how much you're controlling things. There's no need to control the situation, but rather a desire to nurture something to fruition. You may have pressures around you from the world or from your own conditioned nature to do things a certain way. No, not you, Scorpio. But these rules or deadlines are just mainstream acceptances. You're breaking out of that. You're spreading your wings, guys. I can't make this stuff up. You're spreading your wings. However, sometimes the plan may be best to do what feels intuitively truthful in the moment and to trust that you are being led towards your own growth. Adopting this approach, Scorpio, means that you have to do far less planning and far more living. And I'm going to put in collaborative living. It is a pure-hearted center way to manifest your art, your life path, and your essence into a practical expression in the world. It involves a willingness to be led by nature instead of trying to control the powerful force of life, which is a bit like trying to fit a proverbial ocean in a teacup. How appropriate for you, my water signs. We won't fit our oceans into teacups this year. Allow our oceans to be grand and to flow and to follow the moon and the tides and the ebbs and the flows and the pulls and the gravitational pulls and the explosions and the bursts and the revelations and the evolving of our soul. We are bursting into ourselves, our angels say, but we're doing it without restriction. We're doing it without the tight confines. Sometimes when we're thinking of Scorpio, we're thinking of bondage, we're thinking of restriction, we're thinking of masochism at times, relationships that aren't healthy. Oh, Scorpio, they're in your business now. I always say I'm not nosy, they are. We're talking about the restrictive relationships that we have found ourselves in or that we have been the bondage master of. Collaboration. Do you collaborate in that dynamic? If you are slave and master, is there collaboration or is there dominance? And this year they said they want you to break free of the thing you know so well and you are so comfortable with. It is not about you always being in control. It is about you leaning into the magic of the divine and the universe and the graciousness that is afforded to you. It is about you leaning into love and your softer side. It's about you understanding that within you is deeply held feminine, within you is deeply held empress energy of creativity, and you are much more powerful when it's not bitterly that you create, but with beauty and with a softness that you sometimes are surprised is in you and you don't like people to see it. That's what your exoskeleton's about. It's not a coincidence that that is your little creature there, that scorpion, that exoskeleton, that terrifying armor, but inside the squishy mass. And you just don't want to be hurt, Scorpio. I feel that rise up in my spirit, almost to tears. You just don't want to be hurt, so you have to be meaner, you have to sting faster, and you don't want to collaborate because that gives people an in to hurt you. And they said, can you trust us this year? Can you lean into yourself this year? Can you listen to us whisper to you about kindness